Welcome to the exciting rebirth of Superstar, featuring choose your membership rate as low as just $3 a month. At Superstar, you get expanded, exclusive video scopes each and every week, unlimited access to special horoscopes, class passes for Synchronicity University, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space. I look forward to meeting you there. Hello, fabulous friends, fans, and superstars. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of July 3rd, 2022. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. It is a remarkable astrological week, without a doubt. Big moves happening in the sky now. Tuesday is a flurry of activity, and it is going to be on Tuesday that we have two planets changing signs. When we see this shift of planets into brand new energies, it does suggest that a lot of us are going to be feeling our own energy shift, feeling ourselves focus in different ways onto different areas of life. With Mars, it has to do with our own will and where we feel called to pour our own energy. With Mercury, it's mind, where we feel called to focus our mind level energy to experience the kind of, whether it's gains or to experience the learning that we most desire now. First, Mars will change signs and move into the sign of Taurus. This is a very different energy than where Mars has been over the course of the last month and a half. So we're coming out of Mars in Aries. Mars is at home in Aries. This is his home sign. And so he's able to bring forward his more competitive, athletic best. He has been able to be more forthright in his energy. And so a lot of us may have felt like we had impetus and we had a sense of understanding what action to take and focused it and moved in that direction. However, Mars in Taurus is a different energy in a few different ways. So on the one hand, Mars in Taurus is opposite the sign that it traditionally rules. So Scorpio's traditional rulership is Mars. When you have a planet opposite its sign of rulership or traditional rulership, that tends to be a position that that planet doesn't feel like it can really be itself. Just like when you're home, you really feel like you can be you. That planet being the exact opposite of home, not necessarily the easiest position. This is what in traditional astrology we may call fall. However, what I've found is that this energy actually is very much about being embodied. It is about finding peace within the body, and the energy of Mars is not an energy traditionally associated with a peaceful state of being. It is the energy that invites us to breathe, to be present for ourselves, to be present for our lives, to be present in our five senses, and to find power there in embodiment. There's a lot of fear right now, I know, and I've actually created a video specifically addressing some of these larger trends that we're in the middle of, what I'm calling the last gasp of the age of Pisces. So be on the lookout for that. It should publish right around the time of this weekly video. Having said that, it's almost like we're having these very larger cycles playing out, and there's a lot of uncertainty. And now here's Mars moving into the sign of Taurus saying, okay, I know you're afraid, but stay present. Stay present for yourself. Stay present, because this is where the power is. Whenever I teach a class, I try to do a little intention setting meditation at the beginning. For those of you who've taken classes with me before at Synchronicity University, you know the phrase I always end our meditation with, our opening meditation with, is the present is where the power is. The breath is the experience of the present moment itself. And so this is an invitation to be present, to find your power in that space of here right now, instead of getting lost in the fears of the future. Because I know that that fear is there. And that fear likely is going to be strong for a while. Neptune right now is in the late degrees of Pisces. We are experiencing this heightened sense of uncertainty. But we also understand, I think, intuitively that whatever's happening now ultimately is representing this time of transition that we're in. And we are in a time of transition. This is the last phase between leaving the age of Pisces behind and moving into the age of Aquarius more fully. Now, one thing I didn't mention in that more extended video is that, yes, right now we have Neptune in Pisces. That's part of it. We're going to have Saturn in Pisces too, starting next year. And that again is going to bring about this feeling, the restriction of uncertainty and knowing that something's changing and that we're transitioning, but cultivating faith, trying to have faith that it can be something better. We will get there. Absolutely. I'll be here to talk about it every step of the way. How can you be part of getting us there? Well, one thing you can do is finding power in the here and now. That can help a lot, actually. At the very least, it'll help our overall sense of well-being in this moment. And so that's part of the invitation of Mars in the sign of Taurus. The sign of Taurus is also a fixed sign, which means that it isn't just about being present, it's about being steady. It's about staying focused, but also remembering that we're still in the midst of living a life right here and right now. I find it fascinating that on the same day, we have Mercury moving into the sign of Cancer. And it is Cancer that is largely considered the energy of mom. It's the energy of home and understanding what home means to us. It's an energy of finding home within our mind, as Mercury is mind, and speaking and listening to the stories of women, what women are feeling. That may be part of this time. But in our own lives, we may find this a time when we are seeking comfort, when we are seeking connection with our own families as well, or at least seeking to understand our ancestors, seeking to understand the roots from which we come and how we are going to continue that legacy in our own unique ways. There is going to be an emphasis now, a conversation around patriotism and what that means in different parts of the world, and a desire to bring a more intellectual understanding to patriotism as well could transpire at this time. Now, what I find really fascinating is as these two planets move into this brand new part of the sky, they will immediately reach out and connect in harmony with each other. And I find this fascinating. This to me represents that sense of clarity, of will, but also of mind. And it brings a certain passion to our expression. It invites us to be brave and be courageous in communicating with each other and finding home with each other as well. It reminds us to consider how it is we use our words and our mind to direct ourselves in the direction we desire to go, collectively and individually as well. As we move to the end of the week, that is when we are going to have Mercury speaking in a conversation of tension with Jupiter. Now, this is energy that is very fascinating. With Mercury in a sign that ultimately is very emotional, it is the sign that is ruled by the moon, a sign of emotional learning, emotional fluctuations, and emotional power. Having to bring intellect to that emotional energy is interesting in and of itself. Now you add the passion of Jupiter in Aries and the determination, the spark, the adrenaline of Jupiter in Aries. Well, these two come together in a way that can feel that it needs focus. And where it is that we're focusing our minds, we can be that much more an agent of positive change, impacting others in our sphere of influence positively as well. But chances are with this energy, a lot of us are going to be feeling very passionate about our own words and how we're using them and how we're exchanging them. The thing is, speaking for its own sake rather than speaking to be understood and listening to be understood. That's the tricky thing with Mercury square Jupiter, especially with both in cardinal signs, especially with Jupiter in Aries squaring Mercury in Cancer. It becomes very easy to express and to say, more difficult to listen, to consider, to contemplate. That can be part of the challenge. My hope with this is, of course, I think about expression and how expression and freedom of expression is something that a lot of cultures in the West really prioritize. And my hope is that we don't see restriction around that with this particular energy. Thankfully, this is an energy that moves very quickly, as Mercury does like to move very quickly, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't touch on truth that could end up being very valuable to a lot of people as well. These are the major energies playing out right now. And as I said, I mean, just before I started recording this video, I spoke for about an hour in a separate video. And so be on the lookout for that. But I want to just acknowledge that I know there is a feeling of uncertainty. And if you look and consider the symbols, we are in a time of transition. And this time is not going to last. Whether you think what's happening now is good or whether you think it is not good, it is a temporary condition. The world we have right now is not going to be the same world that we are going to have in just a few years. Right now, the last gasp of the age of Pisces, we're really seeing how far that age of Pisces can take us, where religion and belief has created the world around us. And yet, once we navigate a little bit further, it is going to be next year that Pluto is going to step into Aquarius for a little bit of a taste. And that's going to be the beginning glimpse of what that age of Aquarius and being immersed in that could look like for us. And it is especially going to be in 2026 and 2027 that we are going to leap into a brand new world with enthusiasm. And that world that we leap into is going to be a response to the world that we are so immersed in right now, that feels so challenging right now. And so, again, whether you think it's bad what's happening, whether you think it's good what's happening, it is a moment that is going to be part of that pendulum dramatically shifting a whole other direction. It is a period of time. And my hope is that during this period of time, as few people suffer as possible, that we remember to keep love and wisdom at the forefront, because that's going to be part of ultimately what carries us through this time of transition. What I love about this week for us, well, look, it's an interesting week. I feel like it's a little bit of a breather. Next week is going to be quite intense, and we're still part of these huge, intense energies of this time. We are ultimately building towards next week's full moon. Boy, is that going to be sort of the height of Plutonian power, with a full moon hand in hand with Pluto in the sky, speaking with Uranus and Neptune. So, of course, I'll be here to talk about it every step of the way. But for now, this is where we're invited to really be present for ourselves, to remember that life is happening here and now. But it also invites us to consider what it means to us to feel what we do, to express what we do, to share what we do, but also to listen to each other. I think that's going to be the hard thing right now. And I understand that. When fear is so amplified, it is hard to really listen. And yet, if we can start with listening to ourselves, being present for ourselves, well, that may just be the first step that ultimately will empower that many more steps into a more inspired, more loving, and more wise future ahead. Well, thank you so much for watching. What do you love about this week? Let me know in the comments below. I love reading you guys. And to prove it to you, here are some of my most recent favorite comments. Thank you to everybody who likes, who comments, who subscribes, who shares, who thumbs up. All of it means so much. Thank you so much. And of course, if you want to know what all this wonderful stuff means for you and your sign, log on to NadiyaShahSuperstars.com, where you get expanded exclusive video scopes each and every week for each and every sign for as low as just $3 a month with choose your membership rate. Now, higher tiers get you things like all access passes to Synchronicity University events, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the superstar space. I look forward to meeting you there at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. Link is in the description below. And as I mentioned, I started off this week's horoscope actually recording this whole thing about the shift between the age of Pisces and the age of Aquarius, something that I've spoken of a few times already. And I'll link to some videos below. But what I'm actually going to do is I've actually just decided to create that as a separate video. And so right around the time that this publishes, you should see 2 videos go up kind of simultaneously. That's all. I'll try to plan it out so that hopefully you're able to get a better understanding of these larger cycles at play and also the energies happening more in the immediacy. And of course, I'll be here to talk about it as we go along every single week, every single month, here on YouTube in the Superstar space, and of course on TikTok and Instagram as well. Thank you so much to everybody who's been keeping in contact and been communicating with me. I'm so grateful for you. Speaking of YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, YouTube for astrologers at the world-renowned Kepler College. This is the only business course I teach, and I teach it only once a year. It is already over 2/3 filled. This will sell out. It sells out every single year. It fills up every single year. Thank you so much to everybody out there who've already signed up for your love and your trust, and classes start in just 2 weeks. This really is the definitive business course for spiritual entrepreneurs. Now, I'm very excited to say that in the span of about like 6 weeks, I've built my TikTok up to just over 1,000 at the time of this recording. So 1,000 followers there. I've increased my Instagram by 1,000 followers as well. And part of the reason I did this, in addition to like really genuinely wanting to connect with other people and connect with friends and fans who already know me as well, is because I thought it would be a really great practice for me to have that much more to bring to my YouTube for Astrologers course with Kepler College. And I've learned so much over the course of this period of time and will continue to learn as well. And of course, I've been on YouTube now since 2008, if you can believe it. That is how long I've been here on YouTube. And I've loved it. I absolutely do love it. And I will continue to be here as well. But yes, my course, it covers so much. It's the first class that we actually look at the astrological understanding of your chart, how to use your chart to maximize your potential, to understand what kind of business you want, how to promote yourself, and then also some basics around choosing a good launch date. And then in the second class, we look at the whole technical side of creating a video and a lot of other things that go into that beforehand prep. Committing to your own vision, committing to your voice, knowing that you're worthy to share. All of that is covered in the second class. In the third class, we have loving feedback, right? You create a video and we're going to watch it and give loving feedback. Everyone who's ever taken this course, and like I said, this is the 3rd year I'm teaching it, everyone who's ever taken it has said they were really nervous about this part, but they were really glad they did it because they really got to see the good in what they do. And they got like really helpful advice and encouragement mainly as well that they really appreciated. And it is the 4th and 5th classes that we look at making money, growing your audiences, all the different ways in which, and really you get to see behind the curtain, you get to see all the different ways in which spiritual entrepreneurs do their thing. And, you know, as I've shared from time to time, the first 7 years of being a full-time astrologer, because I've been a full-time astrologer for almost 16 years now. September 1st, it'll be 16 years. For this first 7 years, I lived below the poverty line in Canada. After traveling so much, I recognized that below the poverty line in Canada is different than in other places in the world. Having said that, I would prefer that nobody else have to go through that. And so I'm going to teach you a lot of the things that I learned, the mistakes I made, the things I tried that hopefully will make it so that you don't have to. Now, a big part of this course is also mentorship. There are optional homework assignments you can do every week, and you get that interaction with me, direct feedback from me. And that's why I keep the class size really small, because it does take a lot to really be there one-on-one for students, but it's such a rewarding thing. And I see so many of my students, previous students who've taken this class, working with each other, growing online. And I see students one by one also going full-time after doing this part-time, after taking the course. And it just all means so much to me. And different people get different things out of it. Your journey is going to be uniquely your own. Whatever part I play in your sacred journey of spiritual mentorship and spiritual entrepreneurship in particular, I'm truly so grateful for it. So thank you. You can learn a lot more about this course. You can see the whole course outline and so much more if you go to the link in the description below or go to KEPLERCollege.org. I look forward to meeting you in class. Synchronicity University presents the one and only astrology superstar, Achyuta Bhava Das. I am so excited to present this caliber of astrologer at Synchronicity University, and he's going to be doing an introductory course as to the mystical roots of astrology. This is going to be really Achyuta Bhava Das at his very best. And he really is somebody who I think is one of the best out there. He's one of the only astrologers that I still like kind of check in with and see what they're doing online, because his voice is just so unique. I know I'm not going to accidentally plagiarize him, which is why I try not to watch too many other astrologers. But also because not only is his voice unique, but he really knows his stuff. He brings that spiritual integrity to his practice as an astrologer, but also his teachings in astrology as well. And so you'll see here, this is a very thorough course, but it's also introductory as well. So you'll really be able to understand a mystical understanding of the sky, the houses, the planets, the signs, and so much more, as only Achyuta Bhava Das can teach it. If you sign up before the end of August, you can choose your tuition rate as low as just $5 a class, and his class is launching in September. So you've got a little bit of time, and yet sign up now so that you know you are going to do this. You are going to get a chance to learn from one of the very best in astrology today, Achyuta Bhava Das, teaching on the mystical roots of ancient astrology. Link is in the description below, or go to synchronicityuniversity.com. Remember, choose your tuition rate is on now for a very limited time, as low as just $5 a class, an unheard of rate from this caliber of astrologer, synchronicityuniversity.com. And a little bit of a heads up, keep in mind esarastrology.org, ESAR 2022. These are the websites to go to, because I will be in Denver speaking at the ESAR conference, and I'm so excited about that. So if you are in the region and you want to just meet for a hug, that's great. I'm going to be really busy, so I'm not going to be doing consultations, one-on-one consultations at all. But what I am going to be is floating around. What I am going to be is available for a hug or a meetup or something. Some things are in the work right now. And of course, if you come to the conference, you can actually hear my talks, as I'll be teaching 2 classes there. And really, this is an outstanding event. There are over 100 astrologers who are going to be presenting. Very special. The big stars in astrology are all going to be gathered here in one place. So I hope that you will join us. And I also want to let you know, speaking of ESAR astrology, I have a workshop coming up in October. Now, this is the definitive Lilith course workshop. And I will be teaching that workshop in October. So I know it's like way ahead, but you may want to look into that. You may want to sign up now. It is a 4-hour online workshop. We're going to have fun, and we're going to go through an understanding of Lilith, the myth, through the signs, the houses, in aspect to planets. We'll have you looking at charts to interpret Lilith in a whole new way as well. So I hope that you enjoyed that workshop as well. I hope that you will sign up. All of the links are in the description below. And thank you. Thank you so much. I know that this video is short, but like I said, I just spoke for an hour on the other video, so I hope that you enjoyed that as well. I appreciate each and every one of you so much. Thank you for your trust. Thank you for your love, especially in this time when I know that there is uncertainty and there's fear. And that's what happens in times of transition. And my hope is that we keep love at the forefront, because that ultimately is going to matter so much. It's going to ensure that we sort of move through this time with as much grace as possible. And on the other side of it, find that we are part of co-creating a world that feels more wise, more loving, more inclusive, more respectful than ever before. Thank you again for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy.